The address that follows was given at Croydon National Spiritualist Church on Sunday the 12th of April 1981.
God bless you, dear ones of the earth plane.
God bless you, sister.
It is my pleasure and privilege to have these few words with you upon this day that you call Palm Sunday. And I have listened with great interest to what our sister read unto you, and I have watched audibly your reaction to it. Most of you will have come into this truth of spiritualism from other churches, Orthodox churches. Now, of course, I feel certain that you will accept that the other peoples that you left behind in those churches must be allowed to continue to hold their own views and beliefs. There comes a time when it is right, it is ready, that you shall seek something else. Most peoples come into this, your spiritualism, perhaps very suddenly, because of a bereavement, or because of healings. One, a quite quick adjustment, the other perhaps born of a very slow discontent with what you were previously doing. But may I suggest unto you, as is our practice in the little group to which I belong, to try to leave, if we may, a word or two with you that you may take into your private thinkings and meditations in the course of the week that is ahead of you. And I suggest that as you adjust to this, to some of you, new way of spiritual development, that you can liken your progress to some of the festivals that are held upon your earth plane, or else perhaps realize that they do in fact have some kind of significance or meaning for you, though you may feel that you have left behind all that previously meant much to you. But you know, there is so much more to the subconscious than man generally realizes, and he can bring to the surface something that he knows not from where, that appears to have a bearing upon his current activities. Now, in other churches, Orthodox churches, this eventide, peoples will be thinking over this Palm Sunday in terms of a triumphant entry. Now, whether your entry into this truth of spiritualism was the slow way that I spoke of, or the quicker one, have you not been aware at some time or another of a feeling of triumph, a satisfied feeling, if you like? Yes, this is what I have been seeking. This is what I have been looking for. There is something within me that tells me that this is right. And that is the inner voice, the inner you, or spiritual you, speaking unto you. And perhaps you may or may not agree with me, but I say unto you that that inner self, that true voice which is of spirit, because the inner part of you is of spirit, and therefore indestructible. But that inner voice cannot be deceived. Oh yes, it may be smothered, it may be ignored, but never deceived. Man may try all sorts of things in an attempt so to do, but in the end he will not meet with success. And so, dear ones, for most of you, I hope this has been a triumphant entry into what you have been able to feel is the truth and acceptance by whichever method you are brought in. If we think of what is known as Palm Sunday as a triumphant entry, does that not inevitably lead us on to Easter? Easter, which is regarded both by man and certainly by nature itself as a time of resurrection, of a bringing to life. You may observe for yourselves that this is so in your woods and perhaps your own gardens. Now, having made your entry into this movement, in so many cases, the next step is a development or an opening up. That which appears to be dead or at any rate dormant. And you may say to me, but sister, how do we do this? And I say unto you, beloved, we know that many of you sit in what you know as development circles. Circles held for that specific purpose. And provided that the leadership is there, they are for us a tremendous help, a golden opportunity for us to draw nigh unto our instruments, to enable us to find out just what gift that particular one possesses, and to help them to resurrect or bring it to life or fruition, however you care to think about it. But I say unto you that whether you sit in one such circle or not, there is much that you can do to forward your own spiritual development, whether you are a circle sitter or not. You have a saying upon the earth, have you not? To thine own self be true. In other words, you have listened to that inner voice and obeyed it. If all men were to live in this way, in real, spiritual truth, what a difference in the quality of life upon the earth I am convinced that we should behold. But I have suggested that there is much that you can do in your everyday life to further that development. And my advice to peoples seeking development, whether you are going to do a specific work or not, is not important. What is important is that you should become a very aware person. And this you can do for yourself. What of the atmosphere in the various places in which you find yourself? How did you react to it? What of the various peoples that you meet? How did you react to them? Do you make a good listener? Does someone, or do people generally, choose to sit and to speak with you and say that they feel better for so doing? Then I suggest unto you, beloved, that among those very few things that I have listed, there are many gifts. Life is a very wonderful teacher. All learning is good, because knowledge is power. And assimilated power in this fashion is light, which is also good. But life is a wonderful teacher in one particular respect. It gives you one very, very valuable thing: experience. Life's experiences. Now, for experience, I maintain that there is no substitute. You have lived that particular experience, whatever it may have been, so you know, not because you have read it, not because you have heard it, but, dear one, you have lived it. It is registered in yourself. You have not been dependent upon another. You have assimilated what that particular experience had to teach for yourself. So perhaps, looking back, we can see that whether you keep any of your previous ideas or not, there is perhaps a small link twixt the festivals, as you call them, upon the earth plane and your own spiritual progression. Each one, of course, progressing in his or her own way and according to his or her own gifts. You, beloved, who are sitting here this night, have made your entry, even if there is one here for the first time. God bless you. You have come in to this door and you have entered. Now I say unto you, the next thing that must be done, as I have said, it applies whether you are a circle sitter or not, to find out what your inner gift is and to do whatever is necessary to bring it to the surface or resurrect it, however you may care to think about it. Our sister also touched upon prayer. Obviously, the importance of this cannot be overstressed. And here I suggest that you use prayer, real prayer, from the heart, not just from the lips. There is a line in one of your hymns which asks that all that dead within you lies may be swept away. Yes, all that is dead and finished with. Not, of course, the spiritual gifts and the dormant potentialities which are there. But I can assure you, beloved, and I ask you, each one, to try to understand and appreciate whether you are a new spiritualist or whether you have a number of years behind you, to understand that it is never too late at the wrong time to bring forth that spiritual gift. And that as each bud or gifts unfold, we rejoice. This is so because we know full well that if a person develops the gift, whatever it may be, I mentioned someone just allowing someone else to sit and talk to them. Yes, that is a gift. But we know that if you bring this forth and allow it to blossom, that you will experience something which is beyond description, because it is the joy of true giving. Now ask a blessing upon each one of you.